ever since they've been having a lend of us as we prepare to relaunch the 360 agenda. As Dyson Heppel joins the family, he's the first of the suspended Bombers to provide an insight into the doping ban, which has scuppered his year. Chris Scott takes his place on Coach's Night with Nathan Buckley as we share the journey with the Cats and Magpies and learn more about the art of coaching. And Lance Franklin's welcome return to footy is slated for Saturday night, and it features in the big ticket items for consideration before the action gets underway. I'm Gerard Whateley, he's Mark Robinson. It's 2016, it's footy from all angles. Robbo, welcome back.
You too, Gerard. How are you?
Very well, nice to see you.
Yeah, great to see you, even though I did see you on Friday.
Yes, we've seen each other a little bit more than we normally would over a summer.
Yeah, we have this year. Congratulations on winning the Sports Journalist of the Year award. The Harry Gordon. Sorry, Gordon family. The Harry Gordon. It was a terrific night, and Mike Sheen got inducted as a lifetime achiever.
And you won the feature writing award for sport for the Phil Walsh piece.
Yeah, we did. It was a good night for a lot of people I know and love.
It was. All right, a summer highlight to get us underway, Robbo.
I had a lot of summer highlights,
Yes.
Gerard. Did you?
Any that you can share with us?
My horse one was a good. My horse that I own with my brothers and family and friends. That one, but I had a couple of weeks in Thailand, Gerard. Accidentally found myself at a full moon party.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know what this is.
Well, you
but
go
I can
outside
tell by
and
the cheeky look on your face.
The moon's full, and you dance and sing. What was your highlight? And I had my puppet there. You know. What was your highlight,
Well,
Gerard?
it was February 23, Bendigo. I got the phone call the night before and got told, look, can we do our business early because my horse is running. Now, this is the dream. The whole purpose of my sports-loving life is to one day own a successful racehorse that at its first start might win at the princely odds of 25 to 1. Our Severa, ladies and gentlemen, Robbo's horse, in the maiden at Bendigo.
I have a look at this.
This will be
He's on the blue hat, pink on the outside.
So she's run a hell of a race, and you're thinking we're on each way here, so this is going to be okay. It's going to run second.
I'm going to fight back, Gerard.
It's going to run second, and second's a great result first up. Oh, hello.
Look at this.
Lifting with the heart of Robbo.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought of bang!
In the office we're cheering, go Robbo! Really?
26 to 1.
Is that, in fact, the best day of your life?
It was the best 10 seconds of my life afterwards, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. The moment you turn around and share that moment, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome. Now, you called the race here in the office, didn't you?
Yeah. So normally we would mock you in this moment, but that was just a beautiful moment.
It really was. It was one of my highlights, but the full moon party was better. Let's talk about footy, Jerry.
Shall we? Look, top of the agenda, we're taking the big picture route first up tonight. 6 topics, 6 key items, propositions that might in fact shape what's before us in 2016. Robbo, in the English Premier League, they're about to have a 5,000 to 1 shot win in a league that is supposed to be set up to prevent any such possibilities. So just as a starting point as we enter 2016, is this wide open? Is this as wide open as we've had in a long time?
I think the finals are wide open. I think it runs to about 12, 13 deep. I don't know if the premiership is wide open, but it's wider than last year, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I don't think Hawthorn are as strong this year as they were last year. You can't take away a couple of key players like Lake and Hale and think that they're going to be as strong, but they'll get improvement from others. But I think there's probably five, maybe 6 teams who can win the flag this year.
Yep. Are you in the school of thought that there's 13 trying to squeeze into 8?
Oh, no doubt. One of the first things, when I got back from holidays, one of the first people I interviewed was Ross Lyon, and he loves footy, Ross, and he's a funny bugger. And he says, we've got this great situation at the moment, Gerard, where the 4 teams who finished in the top 4 last year all believe that they can stay there. We've got the 4 teams who finished 5 to 8 believing they're ready to play top 4 football, and we've probably got 5 teams who finished, 9 to 13 thinking we're ready to push through to the 8. And that's not even counting teams that have really jumped up through the NAB Cup, like a Melbourne who are undefeated. So, yeah, we are in for a ripper year.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I do. I think most of our material will be generated by the on-field. this year. Of course, there'll be heavy threads that develop in the business of football and the politics of football and the industry of football, but I'm with you. I think I don't know whether we can get the Cinderella team like the EPL has, but
which is Leicester.
Yeah, I think the squeeze is going to be immense.
Right, our first segment, first bit of the year. Who did you choose as your premier?
See, I find this easy because I pick Geelong. I always pick Geelong.
Every year you pick Geelong?
Yeah, if they're even vaguely in it, I pick them.
Did you pick them last year?
No, not last year, but I would have picked them the year before.
Yeah, they were in it. They're in it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt they're in it.
See, I don't pore over it and try to get it right. I figure I'm going to get this wrong. I'm going to get this wrong with the teams that I like.
So you threaten your kids.
That's my methodology.
You threaten your kids about Geelong as
well.
well.
Well, Santa doesn't come. It's really simple.
Did you hear that? Everyone thinks Jerry Waitley's this beautiful man. He just wouldn't hurt anyone. He threatens his kids of not barracking for Geelong. He says Santa won't come.
Threaten is an overstatement. Let's get back on track.
Sorry.
Lance Franklin is playing on Saturday night, and that is the most welcome return to football.
It's been nearly 5 or 6 months since I've last played, so for me I'm really excited about getting out there. It's been a long pre-season, but I can't wait to get out there. I love training and I love being around the football club, so for me that was a no-brainer. It's about getting myself right off the field, mentally preparing as best I possibly could to get myself for round one, and I'm able to do that, but yeah, just excited about the year.
Lance has been able to work through some of those challenges that he had at the end of last year, but he's done it in a really positive fashion, and we've got a really good, strong support network, as Lance said, around him. From the moment he turned up first day of pre-season, we knew he'd be ready to go round one.
Never any doubt in my mind that I was going to come back. I love playing football, that's what I love to do, so for me it was just about getting back here on December 1, training as hard as possible and getting my body in the best possible shape for round one, and I'm able to do that, but now the fun begins. It's round one.
Jared, footy needs its best buddy.
Yes.
Elaborate.
This is true on all fronts. For what he's been through privately, but because it plays out publicly for what he's trying to overcome. For the pure joy and excitement that he provides football fans of all denominations. And for Sydney's hopes, very specifically. It is incredibly difficult to rate where the Swans are going to be, but with a fully firing and focused Franklin, they are still a formidable force.
Yes, they are.
So, yes, the game needs all of its best stars, and that's one of the parts of the top 50 that you put together, and we'll go through a little later on. Footy needs buddy, no doubt.
Adam at 5, Jared. I've got a lot of faith in the big fella. Maybe I want that faith. I want to see him.
Yeah, that's
back.
part of it. I think we want that. We want Ablett to return to the top. We want Franklin to be back. This is Hawthorn's biggest challenge.
No, I don't think so. It's a big challenge to win 4 in a row. I'm not stating something we all don't know here. I think 2 years ago when Hawthorn won it, that was their biggest challenge. They had heaps of injuries. The coach went down. I said then this was Hawthorn's finest grand final, just overcoming the adversity. Just those little hurdles that you don't want. Hawthorn got them and they jumped over and crashed through them, and they won on grand final day. They go into this season as favourites, there's no doubt about that, but they go in with teams better for the experience of playing Hawthorn in recent times, namely West Coast. They go on against an improved Geelong, picking up Dangerfield. We'll talk about that over the coming days or whatever we're talking about Dangerfield. It is a big challenge that I think they've had bigger in this wonderful run of theirs. Your thoughts?
No, I think it's their biggest challenge. I think they'll have to do it with a little bit less talent.
Yeah, I agree
and they
with
now
that.
have to do it with a skill set which is completely exposed and yet not diminished. And they have to do it against the curve of age.
And there's rough heads out we know about, but we don't know what Alistair Clarkson has up his sleeve. And I mean that.
Yep.
That little tinker that Kingy will talk about at some stage, hopefully on Wednesday, what he's noticed when he watches Hawthorn play. Just that little change-up that will separate Hawthorn again. Jared, your good friend Ross Lyon needs a flag.
Nope. Not now. The writer here is now. Not for me now.
I was going to say now.
The most significant thing that's happened in the off-season was Fremantle and Ross Lyon partnering to 2020. That is hugely significant in my eyes. As I felt we got to preliminary final night last year and there was a palpable sense of desperation around all that was Fremantle. I don't see that now, as Ross can play the medium to long game without giving up any of the short. So today, when they announced that Bennell is not going to be playing at the start of the season, he's pinged his calf, he wasn't in that lineup anyway, that causes me no palpitations whatsoever. They've actually got a little bit of time. Everybody who knows Ross says Ross has changed. You've said it right at the start. That he's recognised what needs to change and how it needs to change. It doesn't have to change today. And it doesn't have to change in a few years. I'm not in the now or never camp. It might not happen with Sandilands and Pavlich.
Yeah, no,
it might happen with the next group, but he has the plan now to run it through to 2020.
No, so I disagree. I think it is the now camp. The Pavlich for structure, Sandilands, I'd have only 22 games left, 24 games in their career. I think there's a little bit of urgency around this year. Don't ever, I'm not saying that you do, but don't try to underestimate the importance of Aaron Sandilands to that football team. Just close your eyes and think of those countless times he hits it to Fife on the burst and then the ball goes into attack. Just those dominating things. I'm very much in the now camp.
It's win a final or bust for Richmond.
What's bust?
What does define bust?
We're going to talk about Richmond a lot this year.
They are saddled with this. This is such a difficult proposition because there's no doubt that this is true. But you have to do so much to actually open up the opportunity.
Yeah, no, but what's a bust? They're not going to, unless they get beaten in the final again, they're not going to sack Damien Hardwick.
But they get nothing out of the year if they don't win a final. I think that's the proposition.
Yeah, maybe. You know, their best hope is finishing in the top four, so escape.
No doubt.
The first final. So they're on a hiding to nothing because they get to the elimination final. A couple of things here. 2 weeks we're going to be talking about Richmond elimination final. 2 weeks because we got the week off. That'll be excruciating for them. If they don't make the finals, they will be heavily criticised. And if they finish top four and go bang bang, everyone will go, well, what's the point? Well, this club's stuffed, you know. It's got a monkey on its back.
This is such a hard spot for them, I reckon, to be in.
Well, you know what? Bad luck. They're in it. And that's just what footy is. No one gifts finals to them. They've been there 3 times and they lose 3 times.
Yeah.
The motivation they should have from last year's final loss. When Damien Hardwick had his first press conference this year, he was talking about number 33. And I reckon people were thinking, what in the hell is he talking about? That was the difference in contested ball numbers. And he has been thinking about that all summer. You reckon he's going to let the players forget that?
No. But they have to carry it for 3 more weeks before they get any chance to do it.
That's footy.
Delidio won't be there, and Marich won't be there, and Yaron's not there on Thursday night. They could get the spooks up early. We'll talk to Jack Revolt about this.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Essendon will remain a scar.
That was my go, wasn't it?
No, whichever way.
Right.
On and off the field, this is true. You did the Fitzroy comparison already.
1 and 22 they went. I wasn't talking, and Rob Shaw, who I love and respect dearly, got a little bit upset with me. And it wasn't having a go at Fitzroy, it was looking at the final year they played, they went 121. Now people, I've been watching the round table, you asked all your commentators there, how many games will they win? They were saying 1 or 2. So I just wrote it. I didn't want to, it's not upsetting anyone. There's a realisation in the 2 NAB Cup games, and I know there's some blowouts, but the last 2 games it was 41 goals to 10. It's like 400 points to 130 or something. It was quite scary. Now, they were playing Geelong and Shepparton, and they did play West Coast over there. They beat everyone over there. But I thought to myself, my God, this is going to be... I said, our fears have been realised early.
And then there's the off-field, which keeps going and going. And we're about to explore here. Dyson Heppel is joining the AFL 360 family this year. His regular slot will be Thursday nights. But before we can speak football broadly, it's time to talk to Dyson about the scenario that he faces out of football this year.
I think that's the Essendon Football Club and the AFL's worst nightmare.
What do you say here? My heart breaks for these boys. That is horrendous news.
There's no other way to put it. It's a disaster for the players, for the game and for Essendon.
Today's finding in particular is heartbreaking for our players.
This is a devastating decision. It's our view that they've been horribly let down, and the AFL feels deeply for them.
The program at Essendon Football Club in 2012 was a stain on our game.
I've been working in sport for nearly 20 years and it's just the most disgraceful thing I reckon I've seen. But I just feel for the players, they don't deserve this.
We are now entering one of the most challenging periods in our history. We will face great challenges in the months to come, but we will get through this.
I think about the most extreme case in that, but it's probably Dyson Heppell, who is the most telling and extreme case, I think, in the whole saga. Dyson was an Essendon supporter, and the coach of the day was his idol. When the coach stands in front of you, it's yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. And anyone who steps out of line, who's a boat rocker, probably doesn't last that long. Now, if you think about Dyson's plight right here in 2016, how sad is that?
Luke Beveridge giving an acute context for what Dyson Heppell faces. Dyson, welcome to AFL 360.
Thank you, Jared. On your brother.
So throughout the year we'll talk footy, but obviously tonight is not the night for that. Is on that day that we've just relived there, when you realised that you wouldn't be able to play footy in 2016, what were your emotions?
Yeah, look, it was utter disbelief. I reckon, it was complete shock. Really didn't know how to react, and it did take quite a while to process, because the advice that we were given right the way along was that we'd done nothing wrong, and we knew that. So, that's why it was quite surprising and did take quite a while to process.
How did you find out that morning?
We were together, just at a hotel together, and all in the one room. So the guys that were involved.
Was it a bitter morning?
Look, yeah, as I said, a lot of mixed reactions, but it was mainly just that of surprise and shock, yeah.
Because every single person and organisation, including ASADA, said to you guys, you'll be okay. For 2.5 years, you'll be okay, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then you were hit with 12 months.
Yeah, you're spot on, and that is the exact reason why it was very, very hard to process then and there. It did take quite a while to let it sink in, and just looking around going, what has just happened, yeah.
Did some people blame? Did people start pointing the finger, or did they keep it in-house?
Yeah, look, it was all very in-house, yeah.
What about the public? I'm going to say 2 words that you're going to hate. Okay?
Yeah.
Have you been called a drug cheat? And if you have,
yeah,
how do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I have been called a drug cheat, yes, and at the start it did worry me, and it was hard to swallow. But I feel that a lot of those people aren't really educated on the situation. It is a tough one, but now I don't get fazed by it too much. I know what we did. I know who I am. I know my morals, and that goes against everything I believe in.
How can the players convince the public who want to call you these names, not just you, but other people? How do you try to convince them that you're not?
Well, look, it's tough because we are in the middle of a legal process right at the moment. But look, I feel I'm keen to just move on with my life this year. I feel I'm going to get the most out of the year, and ultimately I'm not going to be defined by it. I think this year it will be tough, but I'm going to continue to get the most out of the year, develop as a footballer, develop as a person, and I think the next 10 years of my footy career will define me, but not this year.
Do you think it's possible you were given thymosin beta-4?
Look, all I know is we were following a program that was ran by the footy club. We were told that everything was checked, approved and legal, and we were given written documentation supporting exactly that.
What sort of written documentation?
I'm not going to go into the specifics, Robbo. No, I can't do that, mate, no.
Oh, it's still under...
It's
still
happening. We've got the legal process happening.
One of the findings on that last day was there was fault laid at the feet of the players in the filling out of the doping control forms, and that thymosin wasn't written down when it was part of the program. Did you at any stage in 2012 failed to fully disclose on an ASADA form?
Yeah, that's funny. I read that statement in an article recently, and I actually find that quite ridiculous. We have had absolutely no reason whatsoever not to fully disclose anything. We've been completely open and honest from day one, and we continue to be.
Why did you find it ridiculous? Because you filled out your anti-doping
Yeah,
form?
I feel because they are accusing us of not filling out the forms correctly to 100% of our knowledge. And
so when the fining went down, and just to expand on that question, it's a really important question.
Yeah.
Did you actually turn around and say to the few of the boys around you, what's this? Did anyone not fill out their doping forms? Did that sort of discussion...
No real discussion around that, no. No, there was no real discussion around those points because, at that time it was just shocking. We were trying to process it all, so... Yeah, we never really delved into that.
Hal Hunter is clearly troubled by he believes he doesn't know and may never know, and that's causing him great difficulty in his life, and he's speaking about that today. Do you feel any of what he's expressed?
No, look, as I mentioned before, I'm comfortable that, I know what I was given. We were... told and provided with that documentation stating that it was 100% above board and completely compliant. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Do you have any ill feeling towards James Hird at all?
Hirdy, look, I have a lot to thank him for. Hirdy, he brought me into the footy club. He gave me my first opportunity. He was a real friend and mentor to me, and I really enjoyed playing under him. But, look, I think it's more of a sense of I just feel let down by the footy club and a number of people that were at the club at the time. But it's hard to label specifics on certain people at this time.
People have said James Hird's a coach. He has to wear the most responsibility. Do you agree with that or not?
Oh, look, as I said, a footy club is made up of many people, and there was a lot of people at the club at the time that were involved. And look, it's hard to pin the blame on one person.
Last one on the coach. Have you spoken to him since January 15 or January 22?
No, I've spoken to him. I'm not in regular contact with him, probably because we don't work together anymore. But no, I have spoken to him.
Was that an emotional? The first time you spoke to him, was that an emotional conversation?
I wouldn't really say emotional. More so just checking in. Yeah.
You checking in on him or him checking in on you?
You're serving a doping suspension coldly, that's what it is. Do you feel embarrassed, ashamed, angry that that's the position you find yourself in?
Embarrassed and ashamed, no. But I do feel angry. I feel let down and probably an overwhelming sense of injustice towards the club, a number of people that were at the club at the time, and the investigation.
Is it a fair system?
Look, I've got no issue with the system. The system's in place to, create a fair, clean, safe environment and competition. So I've got no dramas there. But I think it's more just that feeling of being let down by the club and not the system itself.
Do you know how you'll feel when Essendon plays its first game on Saturday night? And I imagine there's a crushing reality there that even though you'll know then.
Yeah, no doubt. Look, it'd probably be a tough one, I reckon, on Saturday night. It was hard throughout the NAB Cup watching the boys, and I can't imagine it'd be very easy round one when the real shebang's happening. So, but look, I'm certainly going to watch and support the boys throughout the year, but it'll be tough.
Will you go to games or will you watch them on TV?
I'd like to go to games, yeah, in some capacity. Try and sort something out there. I think we're allowed to go, but
just use Jared's media pass.
That'll work. Thanks, mate.
Get you in for nothing. Save you $20.
Are you anticipating that are you having good days and bad days with it?
Yeah, no doubt. It's you do go through a bit of a roller coaster of emotions, but look, I'm in a good place at the moment.
Were you concerned, Dice, coming in here for the first time publicly to talk about or answer these questions? What was it like driving in, thinking I'm going on national TV now,
and
I'm going to be talking about these things for the first time?
That's obviously a little bit daunting. I was probably just hoping you weren't going to give me a full whack, but No, it's been all right, mate. You've looked after me okay.
All right, well, next we see you, we'll talk footy. You'll have Brian Lake as your sparring partner. It'll be Thursday night. We'll be looking into round 2.
Beautiful. Thank you, boys. Good on you.
Dyson Heppel with us on AFL 360 throughout the year. Coming up next, the coaches, Chris Scott and Nathan Buckley. There's bad news out of Collingwood on the injury front that Bucks will share with us next. You know the James Corden skits at the moment?
No, I don't know.
82 million hits on YouTube for Adele in the car.
Do you reckon we'll get 82 million hits for this?
No, I don't. But this is what the cool kids do.
I tell you, the people we're picking up, right, are Brian Lake,
right,
Dyson Heppel, and Jack Rewalt. They're joining us on the show.
Okay. You really are in control of this now.
Yes, I am. Hey. I think they're up here. Look who we've got here.
All right.
Look who we've got.
Let's meet the newbies, shall we?
Have a look at them. Well, we don't know how good this is going to go, but if it goes well, it could be.
We might use it. Could be a good play.
Fantastic. Is this a light? No, I can.
There you go.
Honestly.
Brian, I've always wanted to know one question.
Yeah, see, when you come to the desk I drive, and it'll feel a lot more calm.
Did you strangle Drew Petrie? Did you strangle him, Brian?
I got done for it, didn't I? I missed 4 weeks of the season, so I'm guilty. But like in jail, everyone's not guilty, aren't they?
A bit of a musical interlude first.
Okay.
I reckon. And then we'll get to the real stuff.
Jared runs the show. I suggest ideas, and Jared just says no.
Shot down.
Do you like this song, boys?
Whose song's this?
This is my song.
Yeah, good song, Romo. Good tune.
I had you pegged for Bohemian Rhapsody. 100%.
Bit of Freddie Mercury.
I was certainly Bohemian Rhapsody.
Get a volume, please, Jared. This song needs loudness.
Port Adelaide ruined this, mate.
Yeah.
We can live
for 1,000 years. If I had hurt you, I'd make wine from your tears. I told you that we can fly. We all have wings, but some of us don't know why. This Bomber's house.
Hey, man.
I was standing. You were there. That wasn't me. That was him.
No. That actually wasn't your fault.
Oh, no, it wasn't. I had an action in my life. Let's speed up.
That would have been very...
Let's speed up. I want you to abuse him out the window, Brian.
No rage, Robbo.
I'm not going to get Brian to do it. Imagine if it's Drew Petrie.
He's coming to clean us up.
What have you brought us on the music front?
Oh, just a classic I used to listen to. I know you guys are the guys next to me a little bit younger.
Showing your age here, Brian.
I was probably listening. I used to listen to this when I used to go to bed when I was 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
By the moon.
She's in a solo, like.
Yeah, you're a soulful person, Brian.
I swear, like the shadow that's by your side. See, you know this?
I do. I know.
Do you know
it?
it?
I might know the chorus.
Don't be bringing this onto the show.
That was our initiation ceremony. Chris, you missed the initiation ceremony.
Oh, thank God.
Yes.
I would have been as uncomfortable as Dyson Heppel looked there at one stage.
Yeah. Brian Lake was a bit uncomfortable too, I think.
He didn't look as uncomfortable.
What do you reckon, Nathan?
I'm a little bit sick. I really am. Well, we were saying whilst we were watching that, the premise of the original show was that everyone could sing, and I don't know where that premise sort of got missed, thinking that it was going to carry over.
Might have missed the underlying principle,
Yeah.
you think. You're bringing bad news, Nathan, on the injury front. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I didn't bring it in. It's happened.
Yep.
But yeah, Trav Varco strained his hamstring at training this morning, so he'll miss a couple. So that's unfortunate for us. He's had a massive pre-season, very important player for us. So it's a little bit of a setback, but it'll provide someone else with an opportunity early in the year. But we'd rather do it without him.
This period is a purgatory, isn't it? In a way, all you're doing is waiting for something to go wrong before you actually get out there.
Yeah, and you sort of, I mean, whilst you're preparing for round one and everyone wants to get that going, I mean, we're preparing for a season proper. So you've got to tread that fine line between, getting that work in that you need to get in. We didn't have a big session today. It was a massive deload late last week and clearly early this week. And we've structured it up and we're ready to go. But yeah, it was unfortunate for Trav. It's his first soft tissue in his career, so it came out of the blue.
Well, Chris, welcome properly. You're going to share the journey of the Cats with us, and it's quite the journey in the way that it's been set up, and you'd be as acutely aware of that as everybody else, looking in with some excitement.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for everyone associated with our club that we go into a season with optimism. We've clearly got a lot of work to do. The ladder, I don't think, lied last year. We were clearly average, and even statistically within games, we were average in a lot of areas as well. So I've been hearing that we've got reason for optimism, but one or two players won't get it done for us. We've still got a lot of work to do, but it's much better going into the season thinking about the possibilities rather than worrying about the negatives.
How do you get that through the group? I know Patrick Dangerfield just walked in the door, but how do you say to him, Paddy's just not going to fix up our clearances and our stoppages? How do you hammer that home to the group when they see this star player come in?
Well, we didn't hammer it home too much because we respect their intelligence, their football intelligence especially. And I guess through the pre-season, the best example for us about how tenuous your grip on good football is if you back individuals. Joel Selwood wasn't available, so it was almost a zero-sum game for us through the NAB Cup. We're confident Joel will be okay for Easter Monday. Whether he's at his absolute best is yet to be seen, but I think we've done a reasonable job as a coaching group making it clear to the players that, and this is over a period of years, not just this pre-season, that we value system over talent. Now, if you don't have the top-end talent, it makes it a little bit harder, but I'm confident that our players are pretty clear on that.
Just expand on the Joel Selwood scenario. He obviously played well in the VFL, so as matters stand, has he done enough in your mind?
Yeah, there's still a little bit of time to go. Obviously, we played the last game of the round, Easter Monday, so we've got a few sessions to get through before we absolutely decide what we're going to do. But I wasn't really sure what to expect when I got to Punt Road to watch, but he was outstanding. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he looked ready to me. So,
player.
Yeah, but I guess the important distinction is when players miss parts of the pre-season, have they done enough running? If they've had a foot injury and haven't been able to run, that's a problem. He's been running for a long time. So his condition is fine. It's just the football match practice.
Is it about recovery? Like, because he hasn't played for so long, he wakes up and goes, I'm a bit stiff and a bit sore. Could it rely on selection, sort of that soreness playing itself out during the week or not?
Oh, it could have, but I think we're already over that. He played on Friday and he's fine today. So without detailing our team 1 week out, our supporters can expect to see him.
Can I ask you a question that's not on the rundown?
Always.
How much do you think the two men on the mark, I know you've discussed it, Bucks, and I know that you're really excited about the possibilities of where the game's going to go this year by taking the cribbing and the people around the side and the mark. Where do you think that'll take the game?
Yeah, we spoke about it over at Adelaide leading into the draft, and I don't know, I don't stand apart from the other coaches. It was something that was discussed and it was agreed upon by that group, that our advice to the Laws, who had said to us that they were looking at opening it up a little bit, taking it from 5 to 10 or taking it out a little bit. I think what it's done. Actually, Geelong were a side that sat a player in their forward 50 inside the opposition player with the ball, and that's harder to do when it's 10 metres away as opposed to 5. So I'm sure we adapt and we evolve to the changing landscape of the Laws, because that, as Adam Simpson said a couple of weeks ago, they do shift and change and evolve. But if a team wants to play on quickly, there's going to be a little bit more space for them to do that. What I'm loath to see is if a team wants to do that and there's still an opposition player working himself out of the space. I don't want to see 50-metre penalties paid if that player chooses to play on and runs into a player an opposition player who's still trying to get out of the area. And we might see that from time to time, but I think it will open it up. It'll open up lateral use and it'll challenge lateral defence that's lateral to the ball. And I think we'll see. It'll take a while for things to settle in that regard.
You do know the coaches very much knew that Gil McLachlan had passed messages on. I think he wanted to be at the Coaches Association meeting this year. He couldn't get there, but the message was passed on about attractive football. Realistically, how much do the coaches listen to the chief executive?
No, a fair bit. Yeah, I think we should too. I think that the question really is what constitutes attractive football. The example that's been used is the Adelaide Bulldogs final last year. And I think both of those coaches would probably say, we didn't defend all that well in that game, and we'll make sure that we fix that to an extent in 2016.
If we had our NAB1 game, in round 5 or 6, I don't know if we would have been happy with our team defence at any point.
No.
131 to 121 or 121, I think it was. It was a high-scoring game.
In shortened time.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah. But it was
we were salivating.
Good open game.
We were salivating over this football.
Yeah. Well, we're aiming, I'll speak for Geelong and no one else, we're aiming to play attractive football. We think we actually have an obligation to our supporters and the club that Geelong's been over a long period of time to play attractive football, but it won't be at the expense of allowing the opposition to score easily as well.
My great fear is that you guys devise the cribbing around on the mark and the person forcing the kicker to go down the ground. I'm thinking, right, what will the coaches do now? Just to infiltrate, or strengthen their defence. And my greatest fear is you're going to push more numbers behind the ball. When do you start looking at tactics to stop? I know you've probably been looking for years.
A long time before now.
But no. But you've got to change. We've got to change now. So we've had a change of rule. So, okay, which has only been what, 3 games, NAB Cup games?
Yeah, we've known for a couple of months.
Righto. Have you got plans in place to?
Yep.
Yeah, I might jump in while Bucks is avoiding that question. The lateral man on the mark was always a risky strategy. If you're going to have 2 men virtually guarding 1 ball carrier, there's a free opposition player somewhere else. So it worked at times and got exposed at times. The 10 metres, I think the intent was to take out that lateral man, which the available evidence that has happened.
Yep.
So the impact that it will have on ball movement is yet to be decided. But there's one thing that's for sure, and Hawthorn have proven this without a shadow of a doubt over the last 4 years. If you can't score, you can't win. And I think there was a fear, probably 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer, that it didn't matter that you couldn't score as long as you can stop the opposition scoring.
You told me 5 years ago, I said, what's going to change in the game? You said the game's going to start being a lot more attacking after several years of defence. And that's sort of been building up, I reckon, for 4 years?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people in the game could see that. I'm a big believer that we actually, probably 5 years ago, I was in the don't change anything camp. The game's fine. Watched footy from 20 years ago and actually wasn't that exciting. And I still stand by that part. The part where I've moved is that I think we do have an obligation to keep trying to improve the game in the same way that you keep trying to improve your job, we keep trying to improve our clubs. If we just sit back and say, no, the game's fine, don't change anything, then that natural evolution won't happen.
If you look at the recent history, though, Geelong in the late 2000s, just with that run and gun style, corridor footy, take the game on from your back half, D50, and just go fast. And then Collingwood, St Kilda and Collingwood, defensive strategies that were challenged by that offence and then had to come up with, so do we sit back? No, sitting back just went lambs to the slaughter. So you've got to come forward and put heat on the ball carrier and try and turn it over in your front half. And then that's happened more regularly. And then that drew about another offensive change. In 2011, you started kicking over that pressure a little bit more. The Geelong side that had run through it for so often, Scotty did so well along with the coaches, to turn it around and kick over it a little bit more. And then there's ebbs and flows and shifts, and that's the great thing about the game. At any stage, an attacking style will test any defence that's there at the moment, and it might actually dominate it, and then the defence will need to shift and evolve to be able to handle that attack. So we're in the midst of a pretty balanced game, I think, and you can't defend at the demise of your attack, and nor can you do vice versa. You need to have a really strong transitional game to succeed at this caper.
A couple of the small issues that have arisen. There's the curiosity of a countdown clock ever so briefly on the fence at the MCG. More broadly than that, would you like a countdown clock for the players to see during the game?
Well, they do if they come to the bench.
Yes, but on the board, counting down in
so
real
this
time.
will be there.
No, this won't be there. It's a gimmick sponsor, 40 seconds in the third and fourth quarter, but not within the final 2 minutes, which is ludicrous. But to the overall principle, would you like to see a countdown clock that the players could see at all times on the field?
No, I don't think they need it, and I think one of the reasons it's not there is because it can potentially have an impact on the type of play that we see at that time. And there's on-field leaders that we rely on, coaches rely on, to be able to change the flow of play, and the clock would give them more feedback to be able to do that. I'm ambivalent about it, but I wouldn't think that we need it.
Do you want to know MRP results within 24 hours, Chris?
Yes. Yeah.
Long time coming, that rule.
Yeah, I think
if they bring it in.
Yeah, especially with the long rounds. If you're playing a Thursday and the MRP don't sit until a Monday.
Monday afternoon they announce it.
Yeah. I think that's logical.
Like it, Bucks?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come in? You've been told if it's coming in yet?
No.
No, I'm going to disappoint you because it's not. It's going to be done for the Thursday night games in the middle of the year. They'll do their work on Friday, but at the moment the weekend still won't be utilised. So,
was there an explanation? Is it?
Yes, and it's a lengthy medical staff, and there's a whole lot of people who have input that they're not certain they could get input from across the weekend.
Independent medical staff?
No, club.
Because the club medical staff are available.
Yeah, so you'd volunteer them to do their work on the weekend?
Well, we all do.
Yeah.
Generally.
Everyone does work on
It
the
does
weekend.
seem surmountable, but at the moment it's insurmountable.
Yeah. We're still on telly anyway, just chit-chatting.
What's your feeling sitting towards Sydney?
We're excited, looking forward to the season to begin. It's a long, off-seasons are long, pre-seasons are long, and the players and coaches, staff invest a lot into it. There's a lot of hope that this time of the year brings, but you got to turn that into a reality.
Good luck. The next time we'll see you, Chris, you'll be straight from the ground. I wonder how
that
will go. Good luck. Good luck. Chris Scott and Nathan Buckley with us on Coaches Nights on AFL 360. Coming up, On the Couch returns Gerard Healy, Jason Dunstall, Jonathan Brown and David King. Permanent residency on the couch throughout season 2016. Jared McVeigh is their first guest. Tomorrow night, a bumper Tuesday. Players' night, Revolt, Lewis, Murphy and Sheehan as well.
Lights. They've got 6 light towers here and one is working and the game will not start in this condition. Got any stories, Lindsay?
Lights, camera, action. Not that kind of action, thank you, lads. Come one, come all to the NAB Challenge.
That's eagerly contested.
Sauce even brought his very own cheer squad. To one, the NAB didn't mean much. To others, it meant plenty. No premiership points on offer. Most times, it didn't matter.
Johnson, good tackle. Oh. A slinging tackle, though. He'll be in trouble for that.
The weather was a big talking point. It was the hottest of hot.
There's Drew with a truckload of sunscreen on.
And the wettest of wet. But nothing's as damp as the tropics.
I can tell you, Hutto, it's outstanding conditions down here for a swimming carnival, and that'll be about it.
We found out plenty in our travels. The fences ain't as strong in the country. Hayden, your best call 000. It was nice to welcome Buddy back. It was good to have Wilsey back.
Yep, there's a real benefit when you do nothing but watch the football.
And great to see this guy get a game for his new club.
Paddy Dangerfield as well. I almost forgot him.
Not everyone missed Paddy though. The pre-season is a chance to trial new things.
What a moment this is for AFL football and the evolution of the game. And it's a ripper to start it.
A chance to get some touch.
It's a NAB Cup handball, that one, just to blow the cobwebs out.
A chance to show your wares. A chance to dominate again. A chance to pass the baton. But the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Is that a draggable offence?
A new year brings new optimism in the commentary box.
Just write this one down. Oh, confident. Oh, my goodness, Jerry.
Now, is this simple for Travis?
He doesn't let them down. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. That's a behind.
Sheeds tried his best to do likewise.
Give you a little bit of lip.
It didn't work.
The Coleman medalist, he starts his one left. It's bending its way back.
So the sun is set on a pre-season like no other.
Swanee, that will go down as one of the great pre-season games of all time.
Oh yeah, mate, certainly one of my favourites.
Blow the siren.
Siren blew up.
Bring on the main stuff.
Yes, bring on the main stuff indeed. That's what we've been through. The 2-minute scramble on a Monday night, Robbo. The topic here is your top 50. You went with Gaz, bless you. Tell me, why did you stick with Gaz?
He's cleaner. 18 months ago, Gary Ablett was in the discussion as the greatest player of all time. Hurt his shoulder, didn't really come back last year, hurt his leg at the end, didn't he? And, you know, I love him. I love him as a footballer. I don't know him, but I love him as a footballer. I really, really love Nathan Fyfe as well. But I'm not going to give up on the little champ just yet. That round table discussion you had the other night, I was staggered today.
Oh, I know.
Went against Gaz.
You really love Jake Stringer. He's at 10.
Yep.
And the Bont is at 30.
Yep.
Is there 20 places between Stringer and Bontempelli?
Again, I heard the rubbish on the round table. Not rubbish. You guys were arguing that you'd take Bontempelli.
Well, they were half and half, and I was the casting vote for the Bont.
Because the two forwards went with Stringer, the two midfielders went with Bontempelli, and you went Bontempelli. Now, I'll take a forward. I mean, my top 50 this year, Jared, revolves around the creating types and the goal-kicking types. I've got no problem with Jake Stringer at 10.
At 10. Where are you getting the most feedback?
I'm a poor man's Mike Sheehan's about 100 times, but that's all right, you've got to deal with that. Only because he's so great. Well done, Mick.
Who would you
Easton Wood. Easton Wood is the one. No, there's no doubt about that.
Who would you most love to be wrong about? Who have you got low that you'd love to see surge back up the ratings?
Oh, gee. Look after yourselves for a second. I want to see two kids. I want to see Patrick Cripps and Jesse Hogan storm up. I want to see Jesse Hogan finish the year as a top 10 player.
Yep.
And that means he's got to be a 60 to 70 goal kicker at the very least.
Yep. And who was 51? Was that Easton Wood?
Easton Wood.
Is that what you settled on?
Yeah, Nathan Jones, Easton Wood. There's a few, Jared. Mark Blitzarves, Swanee, thanks to all those Collingwood supporters for getting me in over Swanee. Anyway.
It was like the footy season started once the top 50 was published. Mike Sheehan's on tomorrow night. I might get him to critique the top 50. He'd get his own back.
He would not.
He'd get his own back. Jordan Lewis tomorrow night with Jack Revolts, our new players lineup for 2016. They'll put us inside Hawthorn and Richmond as this season unfolds.
Close Shave, brought to you by Gillette Pro Glide, available at Chemist Warehouse.
1 minute left, no decisive handball.
I reckon it's over the shoulder.
He's getting the free. He's spraying it wide. It's all down to the last 45 seconds.
The Suns looking to hang on, less than a minute remaining. Eric McKenzie flew high. Pritter sends it back inside 50 and McGovern takes another mark.
He's got a smile. There he is. The emotion of it all.
He missed a shot to put them in front just moments ago. This time McGovern starts it out to the left. It's bending back. It's bending back. It's there. West Coast in front.
If this was a home and away season, you'd say it was a heartbreaker for the Gold Coast.
Yeah, the wind didn't work for me in that first one, but no, I like I got another opportunity, but hopefully next time we're not that close, I have to worry about it.
Close Shave, brought to you by Gillette Pro Glide, available at Chemist Warehouse.
So how do you think night one went, Robbo?
Pretty damn good, Jared.
Remember how to do it?
I go like that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to thing.
I think the coaches are going to be... Oh, it's steady.
Oh, it started already.
Now, stop. Let's head on the couch with Jared Healy.